Good afternoon, everyone. The regular Committee of the Whole meeting is called to order at 4 o'clock. Council would like to acknowledge the Ucluelet, on whose traditional territories the District of Ucluelet operates. Audience members and delegates are advised that this proceeding is being video recorded and broadcast on YouTube and Zoom, which may store data on foreign servers. There are no late items, but we will call at the end of the meeting for anyone that is not on the agenda that wishes to speak, so stay tuned for that. May I have a motion to adopt the February 3rd, 2026 regular Committee of the Whole meeting agenda as presented?
So moved.
Councillor Hoare. Councillor Anderson, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. There's one set of meeting minutes for adoption. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll move that the minutes of the November 25th, 2025 Special Committee of the Whole meeting be adopted as presented.
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare seconds. All in favor? None opposed. That carries. We have one report item this evening, which is grants in aid and in-kind contributions. This report will be presented by our CAO, Mr. Harding.
Thank you, Mayor. This will be very short. Ms. Fortune, who normally does this, is away, so she's asked me to just say a few words. Today is really about listening and listening to the groups and organizations. It's great to see how many are on the list to actually come and talk about their projects, as well as space requirements that they're proposing for council for grant and aid in 2026. So again, today is really council getting to listen to the groups. Each group gets 5 minutes, and then council can also ask questions. And then council will be reviewing all the applications at the February 24th meeting and awarding the grants for the 2026. Any questions, council, beforehand? If not, we can proceed with the delegations.
I think we've been down this road before, so we're good. Thank you, Mr. Harding. Before we begin with the delegations, council will have to pass a procedural bylaw or a procedural motion to allow for more than 2 delegations on the agenda today. So I will move that section 18.3 of the District of Ucluelet Council Procedure Bylaw number 1300/2021 be suspended for the duration of the February 3rd, 2026 regular Committee of the Whole meeting to allow for more than 2 delegations on the agenda.
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare seconds. All in favor? None opposed. That carries. Each applicant will have an opportunity to present. Please limit your presentations to 5 minutes if possible, as there are quite a few here to present today. Our first delegation is from the CARE Network. Welcome, James. Yes, just the podium right there. Yep.
Great.
And just raise it up so you're speaking kind of into it. That's great. Thank you.
How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, thank you for once again the grants and aid program. I'll just maybe speak for a few minutes about what CARE Network does and what this grant would allow us to do going forward. CARE Network's been I guess on the coast for the last 12 or so years. We're actually a combination of animal rescues. There was Yuki Scat and Tofino Scat originally and CARE Network, and we've sort of put all those together and basically help any animals in need. We mostly work with dogs and cats, but also a lot of wild animals, typically injured wild animals. There was just a injured raccoon here in Ucluelet that was taken across to Mars Wildlife Recovery Center. So again, those are some of the situations that we'll sort of support in whatever way we can. As far as the services we provide, we do some rehoming of dogs and cats, but typically because we're a small organization in a small population, a lot of the animals that we work with, dogs and cats, are transferred to partners elsewhere for rehoming. And some years ago, we started BC's first mobile vet clinic. So from time to time, we do offer nonprofit veterinary services, spay and neuter services in particular. When our team's not available to do spays and neuters, we provide that service now right across British Columbia. We have other partnerships with other vet clinics that support our spay and neuter programs, and we do those programs in a number of communities. And part of this grant would be to start extending that service to residents of Ucluelet who are financially challenged, fixed income, low income situations, so that they can access some of these vet services at affordable prices. The other component that we're hoping to explore with the district would be consulting or discussing a comprehensive animal management plan for the community. There's been an ongoing cat challenge. Well, there's been many over the years. There's probably one in particular that most people are familiar with now. But really, I see that as just a catalyst for coming up with a more robust system to manage dogs and cats and how they impact wildlife. Of course, these cat colonies, when they occur, are attractants to wild animals coming into our human-populated areas, which increase the risk of human-wildlife conflict, and it's often children that are the first victims of those kinds of situations. And I'm not sure what the current status of the Ucluelet animal bylaw is, but we have quite a bit of experience developing not only bylaws, but bylaw enforcement. I'm a bylaw officer myself, and would be happy to chat with UKI staff about any of that. And again, we work now with a number of communities in other capacities around the province, so a lot of best practices could be brought from other communities to the conversation just to explore what's possible here. I think that kind of covers it. Is it any questions, or is it a question venue?
Yeah, we can ask you some questions.
Great.
My first one is the area that you service. Is it Tofino, Ucluelet, and the surrounding First Nations communities?
Exactly, yeah. So we would summarize it just as Clayoquot and Barkley Sounds. So really, Hot Springs to Makoa.
Wow. Questions from councillors?
I'm curious, James, because I feel like we're missing a page of your application. I know you asked for the grant of $5,000. What, if you didn't get it all, what exactly is that money for? And if you only got a partial, what would you be able to provide? Or would there be an option to provide partial service or something?
Yeah, I think, what's the shortest answer? We'll make do with whatever funds are available. The funds would specifically be used towards, I think we'd probably prioritize that low-income access to vet services, because I think that ultimately helps not just those animal guardians, but the community at large, in that it manages unwanted litters of dogs and cats. Beyond that, again, most of our services are volunteer and volunteer-based and free. We do apply for other grants, of course. But at this point, we don't have any paid staff because of the lack of funding that's out there right now. So I would say some of the funds might be used for those meeting costs, if there are any to incur, or any research-related stuff. But the primary use would be for those low-income projects.
Awesome. Thank you.
And there was a time not too long ago when you were looking to move your facility to another building on the airport land. Is that still sort of on the horizon?
I hope so. We're still fairly challenged with the ACRD So we're leasing a small section of land at the airport, and we were sort of directed to this piece because it's not big enough really for anyone else to use, is what we were told. So we have our sort of rudimentary setup. I was just in the rain trying to fix some of the electrical problems, but we still don't have a lot of the infrastructure that we need. So yes, there is still a building there. The ACRD is still not, moved forward with that. We're also having some challenges around water access and lease rates and stuff. So those are ongoing conversations with the ACRD. At this point, that building, that move is tertiary, I would say, at best, to those other more primary needs we have.
Great. I know you were a delegation not too long ago at the ACRD.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. And I should maybe just add that, we do work very closely. We are on Tloquit traditional territory, and we work very closely with Tloquit administration. And so we're always sort of looking at what other options might be available with our nation partners and in both location and services.
Great. Councillor Anderson, you're all good?
I was just going to ask a quick one.
Sure.
Through the mayor. I'm just wondering, how does it work with the BCS SBCA, and you're like, how does that
You guys are coming out with all the good questions. How does it work? It doesn't. We've been going for 12 so years, probably 13 years now, and we have almost no relationship with the BCS PCA. They're one of the largest animal welfare organizations in North America, with a budget of close to $60 million a year. They probably have about $110 million in the bank. And their services don't extend really much further than their urban centers, although you may hear otherwise or read otherwise. We've been trying to incorporate their services in the sense of setting up connections for communities here to utilize their services, say for contract kenneling, so that we don't have to replicate that here. But so far that hasn't been successful. They won't accept any animals from us, dogs or cats. They'll only take animals in for rehoming from families, direct from guardians. But they also don't literally answer the phone for the days they're open. It's maybe an hour a day that they're answering the phone. So we're always getting calls from members of the community. What do? We can't get a hold of anybody. And so, again, I don't think we're not in a position to, after 12 years or 13 years, to chase that relationship anymore, but we are really encouraging every community to see what the SPCA can do for those communities. Because again, I think there's a lot of economies of scale, especially when you can tap into, $60 million a year, which literally is a lottery for animals every year. But how far that money goes, especially when the Alberni Clayoquot branch doesn't really have much to do with Clayoquot, and they haven't even included Barkley Sound in the name. But don't get me ranting.
Thank you.
And there was a time when a couple of Port Alberni vets were servicing like a Houseit and places like that. Is that still happening, or is it just you guys?
No, I think the last vet I can think of, that clinic was bought by one of the corporate vet clinics, and I think that person retired. The SPCA may come up and do some community visits from time to time. They don't tell us. I'm not sure, and I'm not familiar with any vet visits happening. I was just actually talking to one of the hereditary chiefs in a Houseit about animal management. It's pretty dire up there right now with dog bite incidents. And one of the pieces, of course, in the bigger picture is getting some vet services up there. The last time I think vet services were in a Houseit was we barged one of our vetmobiles over there and did a spay and neuter clinic. So we're hoping these recent conversations will have our team or another team go up there in the not too distant future. But I also have to mention that the animal management planning is really more of a priority, like coming up with a plan, not just having these sort of episodic interventions, because of course that takes the pressure off, but it doesn't get into anything sustainable. And this is what I think is actually applicable to the District of Ucluelet as well when it comes to cats, that we need to start looking at things from a systems change level and not just episodic interventions that take care of one-off situations.
That's great. Mr. Harding and I were just talking about your suggestions that you sent us after our last Zoom meeting. So
Right.
yeah, we'll be talking about that in the future.
Great. I'm always available to talk about this stuff
Perfect. Perfect.
or rant about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation.
Great. Thank you.
The next delegation is from Coastal Family Resource Coalition and Clayoquot Biosphere.
Hi, thanks everyone. My name is Brooke Wood. Hello, Mayor and Council, and hello, other nonprofits and Ucluelet community members. I apologize I was unable to attend in person. I've been back and forth between communities all day, so just at home in Tloquit territory now. And I really appreciate your time to hear a little bit more about the Coastal Family Resource Coalition. It's been several years that we have been financially secure and haven't had to look out for grants, and the political climate has changed and we are no longer financially secure. So are looking for funding this year from anywhere we can to keep the good work of the coalition going. So the proposal, just like really quickly, but I do know most of you are familiar with the coalition. The coalition's overall goal is to advocate for and advance health promotion efforts in the region. We host monthly meetings from September until June in alternating communities to provide an opportunity to network, share resources, identify health priorities, and reduce local service duplication. And the coalition is a community-based health network that brings people together to share and identify emergent priorities. And some examples of some things that have elevated through the coalition and through partnerships with the Alberni Clayoquot Health Network is BC Transit. You know, that's something that we hear these priorities over and over, and it's a really good tool to elevate because we have so many partners that participate. And so often, like a community issue, youth has come up again and again. So what we did is we developed a youth working group. And with that youth working group, we do as needed, either bi-monthly meetings or quarterly meetings to focus on youth priorities. And often we work in partnership with the youth worker that is housed in the Ucluelet Community Center and work with the youth there to provide youth opportunities, fundraise for youth. And some of the work we've been a part of is we did do the Youth Strategic Plan, and which elevated through Alberni Drug and Alcohol Program, and now, really advocating for youth boundary services on the coast. We also coordinate a harm reduction working group, as well as an early years working group, which is really focused on early years literacy. And we're also really focused on supporting the local daycares in the work they're doing. So some neat little projects we're doing right now is we've been supporting Mow the Mouse and looking at some Roots of Empathy programs, or Seeds of Empathy, sorry. I see Pat, I think that's Pat in the room, who educated me that the younger children get Seeds of Empathy. And it's just really, the coalition is a great network that is reasonably self-sufficient. So the Clayoquot Biosphere Trust is the fiscal host. And like through my role, I do about, 9 to 12 hours a week as the coalition, but the coalition is its own unique network. And so I really want to identify that to the group. And so our traditional funders in the past have been MCFD, and they are a continued funder, as well as the Clayoquot Biosphere Trust. Previously, it had been the Alberni Clayoquot Health Network, which was a limited time funding that we knew about, and that has ended. One other highlight I want to share with the group is we do host the biannual Coming Together Forum, and we did host it at the Ucluelet Community Center this year. And it identified the top 10 regional community health priorities. And I feel like This is a resource that council and UCLUET can use for planning, and please use it. This is from community members, and so I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by this, but sometimes when they ask for data, use this report. So the top 10 priorities are affordable and inclusive housing, access to healthcare and primary care providers, mental health supports for all, food security and self-reliance, youth empowerment and retention, cultural safety, Indigenous sovereignty and healing, health equity and system navigation, community recreation and wellness infrastructure, transportation access and equity, and education, literacy, and life skills. So those are some of the key priorities that then I'll do that work throughout the year. And we identify these as priorities that we can work together on. I think I've taken enough time. I know there's lots of people to present. So if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Brooke. Are you hosting the Coming Together Forum again this year?
We do it every 2 years.
Oh,
So
every
it-
2 years.
Yeah, so it would be in 2027 will be the next one.
Great. Questions from council? Councillor Anderson?
I feel like I have to ask a question because you're
Ask.
put me on the spot here. It's funny because I called you the other day to ask you a question about about something completely unrelated to this, but yeah, well, I will call you back again. But I guess the top 10 health priorities. Those weren't in order by any chance, were they?
No, I mean, you know what? Faye is my master's in public health. So let's defer to Faye if she's there. But she said, yes, I mean, I did put them in the order in the most they were mentioned or the most they came up. But she really hazarded me against putting one as a number one priority because they're all important.
Right.
But if we're data specific, Sean, yes, the order that I did present them, that is reasonably how many times they were. And I didn't just use the Coming Together Forum. I used other data sources as well as minutes from meetings and how many times things were mentioned when we did that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great list. And I saw primary care is on there. I'm hoping with the new health center that we can maybe say we checked that off a little bit, but I know there's still a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, and one way that I'm hoping the coalition, with some of the support from the District of UCLUET, is a revamp on our website, and then that can be a tool not only for seniors, because we're working with hospice to do a seniors toolkit, but also primary care and also youth health services. The website was done. Marcy's not here, but let's say 15 years ago, and it is such a clunky platform that it's not working well. So I'm really hoping to have that be a community resource, and that's why I'm trying to get a little bit of extra money this year just to get all the resources updated, get everything working. And so when that primary care comes up, you can go on that website. It used to be able to go in there and you'd be pre and postnatal, UCLUET services, mental health services, and everything comes up. And it still kind of does, but it's really clunky. So I really want to make that a community resource for everyone that lives in UCLUET and beyond.
Sounds great. Thank you, Brooke.
That wasn't listed on your ask as what you wanted the money for, the website. Are you looking at other grant opportunities for that?
Yeah, and I happen to be working with a great community partner, Pacific Rim Hospice, that's supporting the seniors section on it. I thought, Marilyn, I put in there to update that, but apologies if see where it says to update our online service directory, activity or functions. It might be on the second page. Yeah,
Okay.
so I did hope for that. So the seniors section is certainly covered, and we're going to do a seniors toolkit and a printable version for seniors. But I want to make the whole thing for primary care, mental health, youth, all of it. I want to make it just better.
Great. And thanks for coming to the meeting at Forest Glen this morning. That was
It was good.
Yeah.
Still lots of work to do there, so which the coalition may end up with that too.
perfect. Any other questions for Brooke? No? Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Hope the meeting goes well.
All right, next up we have Coastal Queer Alliance Association. Is someone here representing them? It says they're on Zoom. Oh, there. Perfect. Welcome, Sully.
Thank you so much. I'm just getting my notes, my screen sorted here. Thank you so much, Council and Mayor, for having me. I'm joining today from the traditional lands of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish people, as I just got in from a 48-hour layover. So I hope that from traveling. So I'm happy to be here and really grateful for the option to join virtually. My name is Sully. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the current executive director as well as program manager for Coastal Queers and Queer Youth Connections, which is a program that we've been running for the last 3 years, and the program that we applied to the grant and aid to hopefully receive some support from. So to start off, I just wanted to share a little bit about Queer Youth Connections and how the program started before jumping into where we are today and where we're looking for support. So, Queer Youth Connections arose as a priority due to the lack of dedicated resources, spaces, and programming that centers the needs of queer youth on the coast. This priority came to us in part anecdotally through beginning to build relationships at the high school with youth and sort of understanding some of the challenges that they face on the coast, like bullying, a lack of queer competent mental health and primary health resources, lack of access to gender affirming care, and also lack of access to familial support, which can sometimes cost youth either their housing if they choose to come out to their family or their safety and psychological support if they choose to stay housed in a spot that might not be supportive for their identity. It was also identified through the 2022 and 2023 USS Youth Development Instrument Survey, in which 21% of the participating grade 10 to 12 student population identified as 2S LGBTQIA+, and in a question exploring school programs, 73% of students stated that gender and sexuality alliance clubs add to a student's sense of well-being. So with these numbers in mind, which is almost 1/5 of the student population identifying as queer and 3/4 of the student population recognizing the need for these clubs, we thought that we were uniquely situated to take it on, being really the only organization in the region with a mandate focused specifically on supporting the queer community. So we began Queer Youth Connections as a monthly program back in January through June of 2024. This part of the program, we were focused on collecting youth feedback about what was needed in the region. Could build queer youth programming, being consistency, relationships, and as anybody who works with youth knows, snacks. So from there, we set out to build a once-weekly program in collaboration with Ucluelet Secondary School focused on supporting youth ages 12 to 18. That's open to all youth with a focus on providing a supportive environment for queer and questioning youth. And we successfully ran this program from September 2024 through June of 2025. When we were reflecting on the successes and challenges of that first season, we came to understand that hosting the program inside of the school was a deterrent for some youth to attend due to hesitations around visibility and the fear of being singled out at school if they were to participate. And this led us to pursue our second season at the Ucluelet Community Center in the Youth Room, which we've been running since October of 2025. We run weekly meetups for the same demographics, ages 12 to 18, with all youth invited and a focus on queer and questioning youth. Each week we have snacks, crafts, games, and conversations, and we generally see anywhere from 5 to 9 youth per week. We've also been able, through additional funding sources, to take youth on field trips to Port and to Fino, which every youth says is a big highlight for them to be able to get out of town and bond together. So while our programming is fairly simple at this point, the impact of it is deep and widely felt for participants because many of the youth lack access not only to safe spaces in the community, but also to access with relationships with queer adults. And so for queer youth to see visible queer adults who are active community members, who have careers and relationships and are established within the town that those youth are growing up in, that importance and the visibility can't be understated for youth who grow up in rural communities. We run a lot of different programs at Coastal Queers, and I think that for all of our participants, those programs are life-changing. But for queer youth, this programming literally has the ability to and has saved queer youth's lives in our community. The simple act of showing up and being in community with youth who need support is just so important and can't be understated. So far for this program over the years. We've received support from Clayoquot Biosphere Trust, the Grant and Aid a few years ago, the Ucluelet Community Center, and both the Tofino and Ucluelet co-ops. And we're requesting ongoing funding to keep this vital programming running through the coming months. And I would love to connect for any follow-up questions or ideas about how to continue to create strong and sustainable queer youth programming in the region for years to come. So I'll end there, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to chat.
Thank you very much. So this program, the Queer Youth Connections, that's just running here in Ucluelet at the community center, not in Tofino?
That's correct. In our initial pilot program, we initially swapped off between communities in Tofino and then Ucluelet, and we just saw really so much less youth participation in Tofino. And I've been talking to other youth service providers out here. I've come to understand that there's historically been a lot more challenges trying to get a youth space set up in Tofino. And I think that in part, a lack of a venue that feels consistent and like safe where youth are going to regularly is really one of those challenges. So that's why working in collaboration with the Ucluelet Community Center and their youth room has really shifted the landscape of the programming and made it feel more welcoming and comfortable for queer youth.
Great, thank you. Questions from councillors? Councillor Anderson?
Hey, thank you, Sally, for your presentation today. I thought that was really clear. I think you went over everything. My only question is, do you have like any affiliations with like larger organizations, or get any support from someone on or like a group on the mainland or anything like that, or are you kind of on your own out here?
Are you asking specifically for Queer Youth Connections or for the organization as a whole?
I guess the organization as a whole.
Yeah. In terms of funding, we've primarily, we started Coastal Queers, we're coming into our 6th year actually, and we've primarily had success with like local and municipal funders. And we recently, just last year, received our first ever provincial grant that will be coming to an end at the end of this year in April. But a lot of the work that we do has been island focused, and we haven't had a lot of success in, not necessarily like connecting with other organizations across the island, but in terms of funding, our primary sources have come from like regional funding sources. And then in terms of community impact, we've connected with groups in Vancouver and Victoria, Nanaimo, sort of more island based. But yeah, a lot of the time it does feel quite isolated. Like we are, really just kind of the only people doing this work on the coast.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for your work and thank you for your answer.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your presentation, and good luck with your programming.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up we have Pacific Rim Arts Society. If Robert would like to come to the podium, please.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. For those folks who don't know, I'm Robert Gustall. I'm the new executive director at the Pacific Rim Arts Society, and I'm so thrilled and really proud to kind of be continuing this legacy of Pacific Rim Arts Society as we enter our 56th year in the community here. I think it's really cool and worth celebrating for sure. I'm going to start. We have two main requests for the grant and aid application, but I just maybe want to start with a quick update of the programming that Praz has kind of already been undergoing in this year. We've, of course, had our Missoula Children's Theater performance at the Tofino Community Center, and that is an event that has been running in both Ucluelet and Tofino since 1990. This year we had 45 kids who actively participated in the production of Hercules, and we saw about 350 audience members at that performance. Our in-kind support that we're seeking is for use of the Ucluelet Auditorium for the 2027 Missoula Children's Theater production. And in continuing with our programming, for the month of March and February, we've been doing a sculpting series where 5 new artists have had the opportunity to learn a new creative medium, which is stone carving. We have a life drawing series that's starting in February. My apologies. Art Splash is going to be continuing, and it's going to be from March 14th to the 22nd at Black Rock. This is a huge opportunity for artists on the coast to exhibit their work, reach new collectors, and have an opportunity to highlight their profile. We are going to be engaging in a full month of workshops out of the Orange Door Gallery for the month of March. And in exciting news, I would like to just share that Praz is partnering with the Tofino Art Council in an Arts BC program called Pathways. This program will definitely be instrumental in the longevity of Pacific Rim Art Society, just in access to their shared services programs. To talk about our specific funding requests, Pacific Rim Art Society is looking for support through funding for the Summer Festival as well as the Cultural Heritage Festival. Summer Festival is an opportunity for residents in the Pacific Rim to experience art and culture from outside of our community. It's a really unique opportunity for families, groups, and tourists alike to experience new and exciting performances out here. Examples of performances that we've brought in through the Summer Festival would include Ballet Victoria. We've had Indigenous performers and storytellers, and of course, many different exciting bands. We also are looking for support with the Cultural Heritage Festival. This will be the 13th year that the Cultural Heritage Festival runs in Ucluelet. Every year we explore a different theme. The theme of this year is going to be Queers of the Coast, and this is going to be in collaboration and partnership with Coastal Queer Alliance. This theme, for all of the reasons that Sully has just explained in their presentation, is really impactful and important to the community, and we're excited to partner and support them in that mission. And yeah, so I think that that's my update that I would love to give, and I'm ready to receive questions.
All right, thank you. Questions from council? Councillor Anderson?
This is just one of those off-the-cuff questions that may not make sense, but is there a relationship with Tourism Ucluelet and Pras? I just know, like, people come here. I notice people will say, hey, they're surprised we have such a vibrant artistic community here, and probably mostly because of Pras's presence. Is there anything on Tourism Ucluelet or any of the websites that talks about Pras or any of the events that are coming up? I think there are, right?
There are, and we are working on that relationship currently. We also are working on the same relationship with Tofino Tourism. One of our board members actually works for Tofino Tourism. And yeah, so we're always looking for integration. We're always looking for support from them for advertising. A lot of our events are just as impactful for local residents as they are to tourists. So it's kind of important that we're tapping into that.
Right. Excellent. Thank you.
And I did see that the Tourism Ucluelet grant program just opened up last week. So that will be an opportunity for you guys as well. All right. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Oh, if I could just share one quick thing, I wanted to underscore that some of our major funding is contingent on municipal support. So our funding from Heritage Canada, BC Gaming, as well as BC Art Council is contingent on municipal support. And that's why we're really excited to put this application forward. Thank you.
And you do apply to the District of Tofino as well as the ACRD, right?
Correct.
But for different festivals, like for different...
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's great, because I know the ACRD for a long time had this no double dipping rule that, but because you're applying to them for something completely different than you are to the other two, then it works out well. Okay.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robert. Next up, we have Pacific Rim Hospice Society.
Hello,
Is-
everyone.
Hi,
Thank you for-
Tarni.
Thanks for having me today. Hello to Mayor and Council and community members. I am here today from the Pacific Rim Hospice Society, and I'm calling in from the Colloquiate Territory here in Tofino. A hospice society is a registered Canadian charity, and we've been a non-profit society since 1994. We provide social, emotional, spiritual, and educational support to anyone currently 13 years and up. All of our hospice services are provided at no cost, and our hospice funding is through private donations and grants, and we get a small amount of money from Island Health each year. So we basically at hospice have two streams. You may have heard some of our other programming. So we have the hospice program, which is end of life, death and dying, grief support, grief and bereavement. And then we have the sort of older adults and elder services. So I call this the United Way funding basket of services. So we have Better at Home program, which is helping older adults 55 and over stay at home with help with transportation and friendly visiting, reducing isolation, and some house cleaning and some things like that. This year, we've started a couple new programs, the Caregiver Support Program. So we have caregiving groups that are happening, one-on-one support, and some other programs as well. And we have social prescribing. So those are all funded by the United Way, which is great. So two streams. So I'm here to ask for $4,000 to help with our hospice stream services. So right now, we currently offer, for grief and bereavement, we offer one-on-one support to anyone 13 years and up. We have some groups as well. Our Shelter in a Storm 7-week grief group we run once or twice a year, sometimes in person, sometimes online. And new this year, what we're asking for you to help us run is our new grief cafes. So this concept is modeled after the death cafes, which you may have heard of, where people gather with cake and tea and coffee or whatever kind of goodies, and they sit at tables with other folks who are also grieving the loss of a loved one or experiencing grief and bereavement. And basically, it's a opportunity to converse with other community members who are also grieving and build relationships and just connect with other people. As we all know, social isolation is a real hardship in all of our communities these days. So this is just an opportunity to gather. It's lots of volunteer participation. We have a counselor who is also present at the ready in case someone is experiencing some really big feelings that could use a counselor to support them with. We have tables that we're going to set up with prompts on cards. So basically, it's a real conversation that starts, with multiple tables, depending on how big the group is. So we're hoping to run 2 or 3 of those. Ucluelet will be our first community that we offer this new program in. As with all of our other programs, Ucluelet communities are just so enthusiastic and appreciative of all the work we're doing in communities. So yeah, and there's also, of course, much grief that's happening in all of our communities. And so, yeah, happy to answer any questions, but that's us in a nutshell. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tarni. Questions from council? Councillor Anderson?
Question guy today. Thank you very much for your presentation. I just had a quick question about the caregiver support program. So that's just primarily funded by the United Way. Do you get any help at all from VHA in that regard? Or the other question, I guess, would be, have you ever spoken with the Seniors Advocate for BC? That I guess that's Dan Levitt, I think now. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll answer that one quite first. So I was at attendance when Dan came to the Forest Glen 6-8 months ago. I can't remember exactly when he came, but yeah, so I had an opportunity to chat with him just about some of our services out here and perhaps some barriers to service and challenges more accurately. He was really great and supportive, and I was super grateful that the CVU Senior Society brought him out and hosted him. So that was helpful. Our caregiver support program is wholly funded by United Way BC. Island Health does not fund it whatsoever. Yeah, I would say it's a brand new program this year, so sort of a learning curve for us all. But the program itself is we have a coordinator who runs the support groups, as I mentioned. She also goes up to a House It and some other communities, providing one-on-one support as well. We're really looking at what we've heard from the community. So a lot of, because it's the first year in running, we've really heard from community members how important it is to have more care aides, more respite. Caregivers, need breaks. They need to take care of themselves. And so over and over again, we're hearing the need for this. So I was at a community meeting at Forest Gun earlier today, just talking about some of the more complex needs that are happening in our aging population. And so the caregiver support program is one piece of it, but we're certainly looking for ways that we can support caregivers in a more fulsome way.
Thank you. We were having a conversation about this earlier. So, yeah, and I don't think there's ever been a better time to be talking about this because we just happen to have a health minister that knows Tofino and this area pretty well. But thank you very much for your answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Tarni, and thank you for being at Forest Glen for the meeting this morning.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Next, we have the Pacific Rim Whale Festival Society. Do we have Sarah on Zoom? No? Okay, well, we'll move on, and if she comes on, just flag me down. So then next we have the Rain Coast Education Society. That would be Councillor Mafty, who's not here at the moment, but it looks like we have a delegation anyway.
Big red button, maybe? I am Michaela. I'm the Ucluelet Field School Coordinator at Rain Coast Education Society.
And my name is Molly. Thank you. My name is Molly, and I am the Tofino Field School Coordinator at Rain Coast as well.
So the Rain Coast Education Society is a nonprofit and registered charity. We provide scientific education to youth and adults in our area, as well to visitors in our region. Our field school program runs primarily with the Ucluelet Elementary School as well as the Wickaninnish Community School. However, we also occasionally work with the schools in Ahousaht and in Bamfield. Our field school program is a science-based experiential outdoor learning experience, I suppose. We run about 150 trips a year, so that's just typically walking from the school, or we also have a bus that we can use for field trips. That reaches up to about 500 students a year. So typically we see each student once a month for the year. This is all at no cost to the students, teachers, nor the school, and our programming it reaches BC curricular competencies as well. Our annual budget for the field school program is around $120,000, most of which is wages, and we are asking today for $12,000, so 10% of our budget. 70% of our budget is from community funding and from private donations, and the school board does not provide us with any funding.
All right. Looking for questions?
Yeah.
Why does the school board not provide you with anything? Have you heard this question before?
Yes, that's a great question. The teachers and the admin and the schools are definitely in support of us. The school board, however, doesn't feel that that they're able to support us financially. I think we do ask every year, but up until now, that hasn't been the case.
And is the field school like an elective? Like, does the student have to say, yes, I want to participate, or is it open for all students?
Yeah, good question. We work directly with the teachers, and if a teacher chooses to do the field school program with their class, we go directly to the school into the classroom, and we go out from there. It's not a separate course or anything like that.
Oh, okay. It's in addition to the curriculum.
Yep. Yeah, we often just kind of jump right in wherever their curriculum is. Sometimes we do lessons to support where they're at in the curriculum, or sometimes we just choose kind of a seasonal theme. Earlier today, we were just at the Amphitrite Center. We did a lesson on orcas with the Heartwood Learning Collective, who we work with as well. And just after we left, I was told that a pod of orcas went by, and the students had been able to identify what ecotype they were. So it's that kind of stuff that we like to just get the youth out into their region and get the people of our region to have a closer connection, just so that can strengthen our stewardship and our kind of sustainability.
And how were you able to arrange for that pod of orcas to come by right at the right time?
It was very expensive.
I bet that's like a fluke.
Oh my goodness.
That's usually Councillor Anderson's role. And just one more question. In your introduction, you mentioned that you service visitors as well. How does that work?
Yeah, so over the summer, we hire on interns. Some have been from the community, some are kind of typically from within BC, kind of university students, and they run all sorts of summer programming. So we do run camps for local kids in Ucluelet and Tofino, but we also run half-day camps from Monday to Friday at Pac Sans, and that's for anyone staying at Pac Sans can drop their kids off for a morning of learning at no cost. We also have pop-up educational booths, one at TRM in Tofino and one at Tofino Sea Kayaking. Those are open to the public. We advertise them. We put kind of signs and sandwich boards out, and people can just kind of walk in off the street. And we also offer institute courses throughout the year, and those are not only attended by locals. They're also coming kind of from all over the province.
So do you not think that visiting families would pay something for their kids to attend that?
So we are paid by Pac Sans to do that.
Okay.
But we love to offer things for free at Raincoast. We love to provide that education because it feels that that's one of the most important ways to have people care about the region that we live in. And if a cost would be a barrier, then that kind of goes against our mission there.
That's very similar to the Wild Pacific Trail sort of mandate. Yeah. Questions from council? Councillor Anderson?
Bring my stride here. I think some of your programming is available. I'm trying to remember the calendars that are available around town that are printed out. Do we see Raincoast Education Society programming on those? So
I think that's Wild Pacific Trail calendars, but you guys do some of the
yes
programs.
We also have a booth at the Discovery Tent by the Amphitrite Lighthouse. We do that once a week over the summer, so that's typically included in the Wild Pacific Trail calendar, along with like what the aquarium does and those activities. And then we're in Amphitrite as well.
Right, that's excellent. Yeah, I've heard from tourists before that they really enjoy seeing those calendars, so that they know that they can go out for an educational walk or a course. So
yeah, there's no shortage of educational opportunities around here, I find.
Excellent, thank you.
And how are you finding Amphitrite House? Is that?
I think it goes well. We don't work very closely with it through the field school program, but it seems to be really shaping up. We were in that space, as I was saying earlier today, because it's obviously a quieter season. We were able to use that space to host a group of kids, and it worked out beautifully. There's kind of like a smart board there that we were able to use, and we have the J18 orca skull there. So it's been going really well so far. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Michaela and Molly.
Thank you very much.
Do we have Sarah from the Whale Festival? Not yet? Okay. We'll keep moving along then. Next up, we have Redfish Restoration Society. Anyone from Redfish? Okay, we'll try the next one. Surfrider Pacific Rim. No, nobody from Surfrider. Okay. How about the Ucluelet Aquarium Society? No, no Laura? No. How about the Ucluelet Shed Society? Yay! Okay, we have a winner.
Live and in person. Is this working? Okay. Good afternoon, Mayor and Councillors. My name is Ian Rumley, and I'm here with Kim Kemps, representing the Ucluelet Shed Society, or the Yuki Men's Shed, as we commonly call ourselves. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about the shed today. The Yuki Men's Shed was founded and registered in March of 2025 as the Ucluelet Shed Society by Richard Norwood, Kim, and myself. And we had an initial and very well attended public meeting in October, and have had a couple of members meetings since then. Since we are relatively new, I'm going to continue by first asking and then answering some questions, some of the basic questions that you may have about our society. First of all, what is a men's shed? Simply put, a men's shed is a group of men who get together in their community to develop new skills, develop new interests, and make new friends. But it's so much more than that. For many men, aging and retirement can lead to loneliness and a loss of purpose, and that's where men's sheds come in. Symbolic of that backyard workshop where men share stories and tinker with woodworking or mechanics or electronics, a men's shed is grounded in the idea that men communicate more effectively when they're shoulder to shoulder with other men. Next, why does Ucluelet need a men's shed? By adding a men's shed, our community joins an international movement with over 3,000 sheds globally, including 70 in BC alone. This initiative started in Australia 40 years ago and has since spread worldwide. Each shed operates independently based on local needs, aiming to improve the quality of life for older men. This in turn benefits families by enhancing home and community life, self-esteem, and physical and mental well-being. Published reports show these improvements reduce burdens on loved ones and the healthcare system. The shedding community commonly refers to this as health by stealth. Now, what does the Yuki Men's Shed do? The Men's Shed in Yuki aims to collaborate with the community to enhance the quality of life for all its members and the area in general. It's a nonprofit, volunteer-driven organization that generates revenue through the direct sale of goods produced within the shed, services provided by the shed and its members, and membership fees. Any profits generated will be reinvested directly into the shed and the community for the benefit of the community. And this is actually going on right now, as Richard and Kim both have items for sale in the Blackrock gift shop, with partial proceeds going to the Yuki Men's Shed. Finally, what has the Yuki Men's Shed been up to lately? At this point, our greatest need is obtaining a space to call our own, to get together and set up a shop. We are working diligently to make this happen, looking at various sites around town and talking to people who may be able to help to get us a shed up and running. We are asking if anyone hears of someone or some place that may be suitable for the shed to please let us know. In speaking to other successful sheds around the province, it's clear that they have all had a degree of good fortune come their way at some point, be it a building that comes up for rent with a sympathetic landlord or a wealthy benefactor who believes in the mission of the shed, or some sort of angel investor. All of the sheds say that this takes time and perseverance. The space we need requires certain things, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet of space, insulated and heating that can be secured. Concrete floors and bathrooms are also required. And one possibility for us is to secure some land and put a new building on it. And we are also open to any suggestions or older buildings that we could modify or renovate. So thank you again for giving us the opportunity to let you know what we are about and what we've been doing in Ucluelet.
Great. Thank you, Ian, for your presentation. A quick question, is Blackrock the only spot that you're selling your items?
I know that Richard has some boxes in Waves and Shaves, and I don't know of any others. Do you? No, I don't think so. Pardon me?
We should. You know, you're top of my list.
Questions from council? Councillor Hoare?
I think this is a great thing, and I'm fully supportive. Did I hear that you guys were going to be involved? I know Seaview needs a protected shed for the scooters, and did I hear you guys were involved in that in some way?
We have preliminary plans.
Can you speak into the mic, please, Kim?
Yes, we've been approached by the seniors housing to build a lean-to type shed for their scooters. At our last meeting, we discussed it with the membership, and everybody was on board with it. We were to put together a materials list and basically a time slot. And so even though we are still just a bunch of people hanging out in the community with no real place to be, we've got this going on already. So
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And hopefully you find a location soon.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. Yeah. Okay, if there's no other questions, thank you for your presentation. Next, we have Food Bank on the Edge. Guessing that's Chris. Charmaine, is there a Charmaine?
Not online, no.
Okay, we'll move on. Next up, we have the Paula Ross Dance Society.
Good afternoon, and thank you to all of our actors that have come to support this application. My name is Jacqueline Holiday. I am presenting on behalf of the Paula Ross Dance Society, we are currently operating as the West Coast Performing Arts Society. We are a registered nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the performing arts in our community, which includes our children's theater program, in particular with Glee, the adults program with dinner theater, and in the past, we've also been supportive of the youth dance programs. Our dinner theater program, co-run by my good friend here, Courtney Johnson, and myself, we're actually entering our 7th production this season, and it's the 3rd that we'll be performing at the Ucluelet Community Center, which is absolutely awesome. We're so pleased to have an actual stage, the lights, and be able to perform in front of a larger audience than we were able to have at Official Sports Lounge. It is currently the only program available on the West Coast to adults for them to explore and express themselves creatively on stage. This is the only program available right now for that. Furthermore, the rehearsals, working together as a team to build our production, fosters meaningful connections and friendships in a small village where sometimes those opportunities are fairly limited for adults. We have made a lot of friends over the years.
Yeah, we really have.
And people who work from home or maybe wouldn't normally have the opportunity to meet community members and form friendships have been able to do that through this program.
People that wouldn't have met each other otherwise.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Like you. Yeah. So this season, our cast actually includes 14 performers from Ucluelet and the surrounding communities. Our production also supports the local economy by hiring local sound technicians for the performances and partnering with a local catering business during a slower period in their season. These performances, if you're not already familiar, please come. They're hilarious. They are licensed events. We have the capacity to host up to 100 audience members per show. God, I wish we could sell all of those out.
I think that we oversell them, to be perfectly honest.
Sometimes we
oversell
them out.
them.
We do.
Yeah.
Those attendees are drawn from the Ucluelet community, Tofino, and even some of our tourists. If they're lucky enough, they get the message, they come to town and they buy a ticket. There is nothing like this on the West Coast, as some of you on the council are aware. We just don't have anything like this. While the Ucluelet Recreation Department has been tremendous support since the absolute beginning, they have supported us since we started the presentations at Official Sports Lounge. We have mutually agreed that transitioning the program to be fully operated by the West Coast Performing Arts Society is going to provide greater sustainability and flexibility for productions moving forward. We have been asked by people in the past, why aren't we doing more serious performances? Can we do musicals? I know it is Courtney's dream to do Mamma Mia.
Oh, yeah. Sound of Music.
Initially, none of us could really understand or budget or figure out how to do, what do they call that when you do a play and you have to pay?
The royalties.
The royalties. And so we just all got fed up, and between children's and adults theater, we went, we're just going to write it ourselves. Anyways, as part of this transition, we are seeking a donation in kind of rehearsal and performance space. Specifically for this year, we need the performance space from March through April 23rd. It hasn't been put in the application, but we would hope that this could extend into the fall of next year so that we have potential for other performances as well. But specifically, we've requested, sorry?
You mean the fall of 2026.
Fall of 2026, so till the end of the year. We're rehearsing a rehearsal space, though, from March till April 23rd, and for access to the performance dates. So for you who are audience members of ours, please write this down in your calendars. Our first performance is on Saturday, April 25th. Our second performance is on Friday, May 1st, and our final performance is on Saturday, May the 2nd. Typically, our rehearsal periods take several months. We'll start in mid-November, and then we require rehearsal space all the way up into our performances, which have typically been the end of April and the beginning of May. Currently, we rehearse on Thursday evenings from 7 until 9:30 p.m. And then, of course, we take a short break over Christmas and New Year's holidays. This season, in consideration of this transition, the Ucluelet Recreation Department very generously accommodated our rehearsal space until such a time that we were able to make this application to you. Ultimately, this donation in kind directly supports accessibility by allowing us to keep participation costs reasonable for all of our community members. This is a very popular performance. If you guys haven't heard of it, I don't know how else to advertise it. We do newspaper, we do radio ads, posters everywhere, and Facebook, of course. But it's a very popular event to come to because there is absolutely nothing like this on the West Coast. It is paramount for us to be able to secure a rehearsal and performance space in order to put a production of this magnitude on. So thank you very much for considering our application.
Thank you. So rehearsals, March and April. Just thinking I know there is probably one day where the main hall will be taken up by the Whale Festival for Kids Day, but you probably have worked all that out with Miss Fortune.
All of the dates for performances and rehearsals so far have been approved by the Ucluelet Recreation Department.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you. Questions from council? Councillor Hoare?
I do know how good these performances are.
Yes, we do know how good these performances are.
Thank you, Councillor Hoare.
And I'm just confirming for everybody else, is not just rehearsal and performance for this spring session, but also for the fall as well.
For the fall as well.
And is that just for the adult, or is that also for children?
The Glee program is still currently part of a district program. I have not made the personal move to separate that, nor do I intend to. I am taking a brief hiatus from it right now for personal health reasons, but I have nothing in my head that would stop that. So that is separate from dinner theater, but we do have an intention to possibly do a holiday show, so that in theory, those rehearsals would start in September with show dates in December, possibly even January, but to the end of the year.
It's important to note that with dinner theater not being a district program, what it does is it creates a few hurdles for us to go through. Rehearsal space and show space is just one of the hurdles that we have to get through, and would end up being prohibitive and probably make it so that we couldn't do a performance of this magnitude.
Thanks.
And I do remember you guys were looking for storage space at the community center. Did that get arranged for you?
As an agreement for their support for us not being a district program, we are currently searching for space.
Okay, so that was not provided here then through the recreation?
Only during the performances and rehearsal period.
But you need a sort of a more permanent space for props.
We do need a permanent space.
Right. Okay.
If you know any wealthy benefactors or people that have space, we would appreciate it.
Maybe you could share with the men's shed.
Yes. Yeah.
You know. Again, we will talk later.
All right. If there's no Councillor Anderson, did you have something?
Yeah, sorry, just a really quick comment. I was thinking about saying that, but I thought I can't say that, combining the men's shed with that. But yeah, no, I just wanted to make a comment that it's just, I think that's one of the best parts about Ucluelet and the community here is whether it's, Prass and Missoula, Art Splash, or dinner theater or the dance group. It's great. I think it's like some of the most fun things that you could ever do here, and I totally support it. Thanks.
Thank you. I would like to say that a lot of the impact, everybody here, it seems like such a small thing, but it really is so much bigger than that. I know that I started teaching in 2012. We're still teaching, and a lot of the children that I taught have become adults and then have become part of the dinner theater program. Case in point. So it is quite an amazing thing to have those children grow up and then come back and tell you how much what you did, what you created with nothing and very little funding meant to them. So I really want to emphasize that. Anybody in the room that wants to come and see or wants to come and try or tell your friends, drop it and see it. That's all. Just a shameless plug right at the end.
And do you have a name for your show that's coming up? Or is it a
It's
secret?
Saturday night in Yuki.
Saturday night.
From Yuki.
Saturday Night Live. Okay, great. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Ucluelet and Area Childcare Society. Welcome, Natasha.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Hi, Mayor and Council and the audience. If you don't know me, I'm Natasha Barnard, and I have now been the daycare director at the Ucluelet and Area Childcare Society for 2 years. Quite hard to believe. I remember doing this a couple of times now. So I'm here today to ask Council to consider our application for a in-kind contribution to cover the rent for the Ucluelet Children's Centre. The contribution ensures that the Society can continue to operate at an affordable rate that allows families to access vital childcare services. Just a little bit about ourselves, if you're not familiar. We operate 4 programs in the Society. The group daycare and multi-age programs run out of the Children's Centre. I have our Little Beans. It's now been operating for almost 2 years, and that runs out of the old tourist building, Ucluelet Tourist building owned by the Co-op. And lastly, our after-school program and summer program and Pro D-Day program, that runs out of the UAC Hall. We are fully enrolled, providing daycare to 68 children and families. And as of today, there are still 62 children on our wait list, with 42 of those being on our infant toddler waiting for a spot. It's quite sad. We would truly love an additional building, so perhaps we can get in on the shed as well. Right? Which could accommodate another infant toddler program and a purpose-built after-school program. I have 18 children leaving the UCC this year, going to kindergarten in September, and I have no spaces available in the after-school program. So that means 18 families are going to be left without care and having to pick their children up at 2:30 in the afternoon, and no care during the holidays either. There is no space, other space available to us at the moment. We run our after-school program out of the UAC Hall, and this building is far from ideal. I do thank the district for renting us to us, but it's old. It's falling apart, and it's also right on the road and next to the fire station. So none of the kids can be outside. We do play outside at other spots. Obviously, we've got a lot of spots in town, but they can't be running outside. So I have actually had a conversation with someone in the community who does have a spot of land in town, and they are hoping to donate it to us. But this can't happen till 2027. So if council or anyone else has any ideas of anything else that we could use, then I'd love to speak with you, as well as the other 2 people. Exactly. So just a couple of things I've been doing recently alongside this grant application. I did apply for the literacy grant with the Family Coalition program, and I was successful. I got $1,000 for the after school program, and I spent that on setting up a cozy reading corner at the UAC Hall. That included like a large rug, some beanbag chairs, some Yodo machines. If you don't know what they are, they're really cool. So we got a couple of those, and of course many books requested by the children. It's often because we're indoors and it's quite a small building, it's nice to have some quiet space, so they're able to do that now, and the kids are really enjoying that. I'm also applying for a much larger grant through the Claycott Biosphere Trust, and I wondered if you were in on that too. I will talk to you afterwards. It's the education people, because they have a huge they had to have a huge amount of money under the Free to Play initiative. I don't know if you've heard about it. There's like $20 million across the country, and the Claycott Biosphere Trust have $176,000 they have to distribute. So you apply, and then it's a participatory process which will be done on the March 25th. The aim of the grant is to get children off their electronics and back outside taking part in risky play. There is a workshop about supporting outdoor risky play being held at the community centre on February 26th. And they're bringing in a lady called Rachel Ramsden from BC Children's Hospital Research Institute, who'll be hosting an interactive workshop. It's open to all and no registration is required. It's going to be another busy year this year with our largest number of children moving to kindergarten and all bar 2 of our little beans aging out and moving down to the UAC. This month, of course, brings Valentine's Day, which is always full of love, cards, heart-shaped candies, and a special lunch at the daycare on next Friday. Before we know it, we'll be hosting our second spring concert, date to be confirmed, and then heading into the summer. I can hardly keep up. Thank you for your time, and do you have any questions?
Thank you, Natasha. So obviously you need more space. Is it also a capacity issue with staff? Do you need staff?
We always need more staff, but I don't know. I just seem to find staff. I need staff. It's hard because of accommodation, but there's always things coming up, and I've always managed it so far. So I always think it's desperate, but I've never had to shut a program down yet. So I would have to have more staff though.
Because with Little Beans, it's that early child care.
So the ratios are much lower. With Little Beans, it's 1 to 4 ratio. We're actually really fortunate. We have 4 staff there at the moment. And in the older age group, it's 1 to 8. But we also have more staff for that too. That's the minimum licensing standard. But I worked at Little Beans today, and the 1 to 4 is like craziness. It's I need a one-on-one. It's they move fast. Yeah.
Amazing. Questions from Council? Councillor Hoare?
Just a clarification on it, Natasha. You're asking for in-kind just for the UCC or also including the UAC for the after-school?
No, we pay the UAC hall, and we're fortunate enough that the co-op charges me $1 a month rent for that other building, so pretty good. Yeah.
Councillor Anderson?
I feel like I'm biased here. I have a little bean at Little
Yeah.
Bean. But yeah, you've done since you've been here. I think you've done an incredible job. Everyone's really happy, and it's been it's been incredible to see what you've done with the limited resources that you have, and I really think everybody's really excited about that. But 62 on the wait list, is that right?
Yes, 62.
Yeah, and I think Councillor Noel brought up the other day the idea that maybe we have to start thinking a little differently about how we do this, because funding-wise. Because in a small town with a lot of young families here, as we start to grow, I think, and there's some economic development opportunities that'll be coming. There's going to be more families coming, so that's a pretty big number to have people that potentially can't work or have to leave work early. If that's what do you like a policeman or something like that? It's just not going to happen. So I think we have to start talking a little more about what we can do to bring that number down.
Yeah, there are grants available once we have somewhere to put something. So, but at the moment we don't. So,
right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
And just one quick question.
sorry.
I know the Ucluelet Aquarium quite often has a story time. Is that something that is that you guys participate in?
Yeah.
You take your kids
Yeah,
there?
we definitely, the Little Beans always go. And then sometimes the MAP program, they only have 8 kids in there. The GDC, the group daycare, is 24. It's harder to get them to something like story time. But I wanted to speak to the education people after, because they might be able to come into the daycare and give us some education for the kids. That would be really neat.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what I love about these meetings, is the societies all get to hear from each other, and then some matches can be made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. All right, thanks, Natasha, for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Thanks.
Next is the Ucluelet and Area Historical Society. Claudia, welcome.
I'm Claudia Cole with the Ucluelet and Area Historical Society. I'd like to outline the Historical Society's main activities. Can't cover all the little things. And I'm going to begin with the event coming up this month, our annual BC Heritage Week presentation. This year, mid-February, as usual, the BC Heritage, which is an organization funded by the government, theme is the culture of food. So we're having a photo and video presentation with the addition of serving actual food using the old local recipes from the days when the Fisherman's Ball was held. A number of local people are preparing the food, and much of the seafood is being donated. This special larger event is made possible by collaboration with Seaview Seniors Housing and the group of volunteers who have run community meals for years. We are now requesting an amendment to our grant in aid application. Because of this expansion of number of attendees, we've moved the location from activity rooms 1 and 2 to the main hall, and we've booked it. We are requesting an amendment for a grant in kind of the room use, and we are now asking this as an amendment if it's possible. Cover the main hall. The Harbor History Tours this year will be affected by the Japanese Canadian History Pavilion, which is our joint project with the District of Ucluelet. The year 2026 will be a much busier one than the year 2025 on this project, as it's a lot of details to work on, and it's culminating in the opening at the end of August. So we're considering reducing our harbor history tours from 3 cultures to just focus on the 6 Japanese villages and only holding the boat tours while we're so busy in the week of the opening, so that people coming from out of this area would be able to book a tour and experience history from the harbor the way their ancestors who lived here did. The Imperial Lane building site on the, more on the Japanese Canadian History Pavilion. The Imperial Lane building site is now at the stage ready to have the concrete foundation and I think a part of a retaining wall laid. And behind the scenes, our builder is has done a lot of the painstaking hand construction, and he's been working on the intricate traditional Japanese joinery and has created the building in sections, moving them to an indoor storage facility as each is completed. When the weather's better and the foundation is complete, these pieces will be transported back to this side of the harbor. They're in Port Albion, a brand new building just in time. For the Imperial Lane site, and where they will be reassembled, sort of put up in chunks with a crane on the top. We got some unusual publicity for Ucluelet and our pavilion when Tokyo TV came from Japan to do a follow-up to an earlier episode on their popular TV program that's shown in Japan. They had already done an episode on Jason Sari, our builder, because of his engaging in an ancient Japanese technique, which they have a whole program on it, and it runs frequently. It's he had a whole hour program on him when they found out about him. Well, now they have found out about this program, this project that he's building. It's not just a little park pavilion. It's something that will tell the story of the Japanese Canadians in this area. So that's of interest as an extra special thing that he does. While they were here, the TV crew asked the Historical Society for a tour of some of the areas of importance in Japanese Canadian history and did a lot of filming and interviewing in these areas, besides the filming they did of the builder at work. They also heard a brief presentation on JC history in our mini museum at Tourism Ucluelet on Main Street, the Info Center. The pavilion's historical interpretive boards, which are the reason it's there. The building looks lovely, but we're telling the story of the people who lived here. We've completed research and the writing of the text, which has now been submitted to the funders, Japanese Canadian Legacy Society. When we get their approval, that text will go to the graphic designer, and we have begun consultations on design with her. The Society's interim report to JCLS, halfway point in the project, has been submitted, and when we get the final approval of that, we'll receive the second grant payment, which should be very shortly. After a difficult year during the construction, the long, slow construction in the basement of the district office, our facility is now in what I think is the best condition ever. Thanks to donations from the City of Victoria Archives, Tourism Ucluelet, and our own volunteers who were leaving us but left us a beautiful gift of storage equipment when they left. We now have an improved layout and storage equipment. We received a few $100s worth of excess document boxes, correct museum document boxes from the City of Victoria. Tourism Ucluelet gave us an updated kind of file cabinets, makes much more roomy now. And we're looking forward to having a much better year with having the volunteers able to start working again on the routine work that's required when you own a collection. And also it should help out with making our displays as they come up. Any questions?
Thank you, Claudia. Do you still have to run dehumidifiers in the basement?
Oh, yeah. And they've just bought another one for out in the main area because that one died. I mean, the district's own, where the paper is stored. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't affect us. We have 2 in our area. And the district staff have been, when there's a period when there's nobody going down there, they will go down and do it. You're constantly emptying them. Fortunately, the bathroom was restored, because if not, we'd have had to carry those very heavy buckets all the way through the district storage area and out the back door and put it down the drain. But everything's better than it's ever been. So we're very grateful.
Oh, well, that's great. Do you want to stay up for questions? Councillor Hoare?
Just a quick one. You said you had to upgrade to the main hall for the Heritage Heritage Festival.
Because it's serving of food.
Have you checked it's available that day?
Oh yeah,
it's all
we got
booked
that
and
done
stuff?
a while ago. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
And what is the date of that?
The 16th. It's Family Day. Heritage BC recommends that you have an event during that week on Family Day if possible, because there are a lot of people, although a lot of people go away, a lot more people stay home and are looking for something interesting to do.
That's a Monday.
And we've
then.
got a lot of very enthusiastic volunteers and people who want to tell the story of the crazy old fisherman's ball.
So there will be speakers. It's not.
Oh yes,
just
there are. Speakers, and or some of them may not want to speak. But they will allow themselves to be videoed, and that will be in there with photographs.
Oh, great. Okay, that's the Monday then, February 16th. Yeah. Great.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, Councillor Anderson.
Sorry.
Claudia, are you still okay for questions?
Sorry.
Councillor Anderson.
Thank you. That was a terrific update, and I'm really excited to see more with the Japanese pavilion. That's going to be great. Is there going to be the Japanese Heritage Boat tour this year?
Just in that week, and it'll be just the Japanese villages. Not. You see, we had expanded it. The first year it was the 6 Japanese villages tour, and then we expanded it to include a lot more of the harbor, and it included the First Nations and the white settlers. We would still be giving the acknowledgement at the beginning for the First Nations, no matter what we do, and possibly saying, here is this and this and this, as we go by of certain First Nation sites that we know of. But it would be focused for this time because of expecting people from other places in Canada. As you probably know, most of the people who lived here after the internment, they did not come back. It was hundreds of them that didn't come back.
Right.
So that's why we're sending out invitations all over. We have a huge list of them.
And is there digitizing right now of photographs from the archive right now that are going onto the website? Was that happening?
There are some. I don't know what they are. We haven't added any lately.
Right.
But you can look on the website, ucluelethistory.ca.
Yep. Excellent. Thank you.
And do you happen to know if the app is still working on this spot? I know I have it on my phone.
On this spot? No, I haven't watched it lately. But our website is. They didn't take very much from us when they came here. We were one of the first first organizations in Canada to be included
on the.
So
on
that
the
was a
spot.
long time ago that they did that.
Yeah. You can walk around town and the app will tell you what happened in history on a particular location. Yeah. Okay, great.
Got to remember to say that. I've been volunteering at the info center.
Oh, yeah, mention it for sure.
Oh, and we do have a mini museum in the info center. So
yes.
Anybody wants to go and see?
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation. Next up is the Ucluelet Junior Canadian Rangers, but I see that they sent regrets, so they're not up next. Then we have Ucluelet Tourism Association.
They'll be joining on Zoom.
That would be Nick. Nope. Oh, Genevieve. Hi, Jen.
Hello. I'm just getting my camera going. There we go. Never hear me and see me? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having Tourism Ucluelet present today. My name is Genevieve Uno, and I'm presenting our application for an in-kind contribution on behalf of Tourism Ucluelet. We are a not-for-profit destination management organization that really supports the growth and resiliency and really tries to create a values-aligned tourism economy. So we mostly do that through several different ways. That could look like marketing, storytelling, anywhere from industry development to destination stewardship. We also work within visitor services operations and support businesses in their tourism training and entrepreneurial journey. We support over 200 local operators and work with other not-for-profits, small businesses, and regional partners to ensure Ucluelet's tourism sector remains sustainable, accessible, and community-orientated. What we're hoping to request today are in-kind support from the District of Ucluelet to enable the delivery of stakeholder workshops and business development programming. One of the areas of focus for 2026 is really to engage with community, tourism businesses, not-for-profits, and provide services and resources and training programs so that they can feel really equipped in not just their businesses, but in the experiences and products that they hope to share with visitors and community members alike. So what we're seeking are meeting spaces, more specifically the bookings of the meeting spaces. We're hoping to host at least 8 times this year, whether that be roundtables, engagement sessions, or structured workshops and training programs. And we're also requesting the district-owned tables and chairs so that we've got comfortable seating and tables to be able to provide those programmings. with the programs that we have planned for this year, we should be seeing close to 100 to 150 participants. Again, that being managers, entrepreneurs, community partners, and again, tourism businesses. We think that by equipping them with this type of resources and training, again, it's supporting the growth and sustainability of the tourism economy. And this is something that we've heard year over year in terms of what we can do to support the tourism ecosystem within the area beyond marketing and promotion and storytelling. So we are excited to be able to deliver these programs in the next year.
Thank you. Do you have some examples of programs that you're hoping to provide?
Yeah, so the ones that have been of most interest are around regenerative and sustainable tourism. So understanding what that means for a tourism business and how they can integrate that into their operations and guest experiences. And then we also have a lot of marketing interest as well. So what does it mean to be digitally literate? How do you navigate SEO? So quite a big spectrum of what we can provide and what we're intending to provide. We're also doing one-on-one coaching workshops. I believe registration is going to be open for that pretty soon with Tansy Solutions. And that's a program where entrepreneurs are getting one-on-one support, kind of an audit in their business by Tansy Solutions. And the intention there is for them to support you kind of along this journey step by step in making small improvements or being a little bit more creative or pie in the sky thinking about some experiences that you might want to create or develop as you continue to grow in your business. So those are a few examples of the type of workshops and programs we are planning to deliver.
Great, thank you. I noticed today that one-on-one coaching application just went live today.
Yes, yeah.
Questions from council? No? Okay, that's great. Very straightforward. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon, evening.
You too.
Bye.
Next up, we have the West Coast Community Resources Society. Welcome, Laurie.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just want to check with Ed. Is that video queued up by chance? Or that presentation? Okay. How about I'll give you like a go kind of thing. So I'm Laurie Hanna. I'm the Executive Director of West Coast Community Resources Society. We're the local nonprofit that supports and does all the free counseling for community members. I'm going to share our new vision and mission, and just to give you, it's what we've been working on this last year in the space that we get to use as part of our office space through the Ucluelet Community Center, which we're so grateful. So we're here to ask for an in-kind donation to reduce the rent for that space because it helps us just to provide so much more resources if we don't have that. And we're also really grateful for the main hall for our holiday luncheon. So when that's twice, we have that for 2 days. And this past December, we had the most people attending. There was like over 200 people. And it's just such a great holiday luncheon and just kind of, it gets everyone ready. It's earlier in the season in December. And so I think it just gets everyone ready for that season and gets them ready in a good way. So we've been able to utilize this space. We have like 31 staff. A large portion or like 10 of those are actually casual for our transition house. So that means like 20 of them use the hub space. We call it the hub space because we're sharing it with Island Health, MCFD, and the Trans Tribal Council. So basically we have like 5 office spaces that about 20 staff share. So we really utilize this space a lot. And so we've been able to create our new strategic plan with community input. And so our vision now is everyone on the West Coast feels a deep sense of safety and belonging. And our mission is we empower and support healing and well-being through safe spaces, education, outreach, and counseling. So within that, we offer 15 different programs. And I want to showcase one of the things that we've been working on this last year. So through our substance use outreach worker, we got an opportunity to work with UBC and this other organization called Equip and some other nonprofits in the province to create a tool. It's an awareness tool, and we have it on our website, but we're really showing it because it's similar to what Jason said earlier. We're really trying to shift the social culture and create awareness for service providers at the hospital, for community members. So this is a project that we were able to work on in this space, and that's why we're so grateful for it. So if we can queue it up and run it, that would be awesome.
Imagine a woman, let's call her Anna. Anna has decided to get help after years of abuse from her partner. Lately, she's been using alcohol and opioids to help with the overwhelming pain and fear she feels. Anna thinks she needs to leave her partner to be safe, but she also knows there are risks that come with leaving. She's terrified about what will happen to her children. Anna is ashamed for having stayed so long and for using substances to make it through the day. Cut off from family and friends and a community of care, she feels lost and unsure. How can we best support Anna? The relationships between gender-based violence and substance use are complex. Some people use substances as an excuse for using violence or to control their partner. Many people, like Anna, use substances to help deal with the impacts of violence, but we often blame them when they do. How we think and talk about violence and substance use impacts how we care for people. When violence is seen as the uncommon actions of a few people, we overlook how being abused or controlled because of your gender is part of everyday life for many people. When we dehumanize people who use violence, we overlook that many experience violence themselves, and we close the door to real change. If we view substance use as a personal moral issue, we might support misconceptions like substance use causes violence, it excuses violence, and even that people who use substances deserve abuse. These ideas lead to stigma and shame and prevent people from seeking help. And when they're excluded from services, the consequences are serious. Together, we can imagine a better future. What if services were based on understanding that many people use substances to manage and reduce the emotional, spiritual, and physical pain arising from trauma? What about seeing substance use as a spectrum with a range of risks and benefits? What if we assumed that a person who uses violence might also have experienced violence? We could even have conversations about substance use health in the same way we talk about physical and mental health. There are so many encouraging possibilities, and it's up to us to collectively transform how health and social services are offered. Consider how trauma and violence-informed care can guide services by putting safety, trust, and choice first, using strengths-based approaches, always with a focus on ending all forms of discrimination. What if we started by recognizing the strengths of people who have survived violence and followed their lead? Meaningful support happens when you meet people where they are, with information, workable options, and realistic choices, including about their relationships and substance use. Trying to control people's decisions will drive them away from services, and having expectations of outcomes will keep them from coming back. Collaboration is key. To make sure policies and practices address the relationships between gender-based violence and substance use, people with expertise about violence, substance use health, and the law are all important. People with lived experience of both gender-based violence and substance use stigma are needed to provide direction. Effective services will recognize that many people experiencing violence may turn to substances to survive overwhelming experiences, often at the cost of their safety and health. We can use language, policies, and practices intentionally to make services safe and welcoming for everyone, regardless of the nature of their substance use. This includes staff who will have diverse experiences and understandings of violence and substance use. When we put people at the heart of every service and every interaction, we open the door for real connection and meaningful change. Through systems change, community collaboration, small shifts, and step-by-step progress, we can create new approaches and pathways so that people like Anna can find support, safety, and well-being. For more resources to support substance use health for people experiencing gender-based violence, please visit equiphealthcare.ca.
Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to watch that. And yeah, if anything, upset anyone in any way, please reach out to me, and we can chat about it as well. But yeah, is there any questions?
Does that video live on your website?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's now uploaded to our website.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Questions from council? No. No. Okay. So the main thing you're looking for is in-kind sponsorship for your space.
Yeah, for our office space here and for the main hall for our holiday luncheon.
Which was fantastic, I must say.
Yes, it's so great. We have such awesome community support for that.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Lori, for your presentation.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Next up, we have West Coast Multiplex Society.
They will not be attending.
Okay. Then next up, we have Wild Pacific Trail Society.
Shannon was on Zoom earlier, but she's no longer online.
So no one from Wild Pacific Trail? Next up is Seaview Seniors Housing Society. Welcome, Patricia.
Good, it's still on. Hi, I'm Patricia Sieber from the chairperson of the Seaview Seniors Housing Society. We are a nonprofit volunteer board, and we oversee, our main purpose is to oversee the functioning of Forest Glen. However, our mandate and our vision statement from when the organization was begun is to keep seniors in the whole community connected and interacting with each other, and to also keep our residents connected to the community. And so one of our projects has been our senior luncheons, which has been funded happily and we're grateful for the funding from the district. From past years, you probably know that we haven't been able to spend the money you gave us for a couple of years because of COVID and then post-COVID restrictions. But we have been holding them, but we still haven't used up all our money. So what we're not asking for more money. We're asking if you will let us keep the money that we presently have not yet spent. And we haven't spent it as quickly as we thought we might because we've had so much help from the wider community. We've had BlackRock and Heartwood and Howlers donate soup for us. I tell them I will pay them, but they don't give us an invoice. So we're and sometimes they just say up front, we don't want you to pay us. So we have purchased other things to go with the lunch. So we have been spending it. And then Better at Home has come forward and asked if they could sponsor part of our lunches by providing coffee and desserts. So we're not spending the money as quickly as we thought we might. So we still have some left. So what we're asking tonight is if you will allow us to keep it and keep spending it. So we're not asking for more. We're just asking that you don't take it back.
That's a good problem to have. Right.
So are there any questions?
Any questions for Patricia? Nope. Thank you for presenting this evening. All right. Are there any other representatives from local community groups present who did not make the agenda list and wish to present an update? No. Seeing nobody in the audience, are there any representatives on Zoom?
Nobody on Zoom.
All right. We'll now move on to question period. This is an opportunity for the public to ask questions and comment on matters within Council's jurisdiction. Representations about bylaws that Council is prohibited from holding a public hearing on, or bylaws that were subject to a public hearing, are not permitted at this time. Are there any audience members that wish to address Council? I think you've all spoken to us already, so that's great. Are there any members of the public attending by Zoom or telephone that wish to address Council?
Nope.
And have we received any emails to communityinput@ucluelet.ca?
No, we have not.
Okay, then I will move that the February 3rd, 2026 regular committee of the whole meeting be adjourned at 5:56. Thank you for coming, everybody.